ASEAN Breakfast Call Dialogue, widening your horizons.
A merry little Christmas, let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of your faithful friends who are dear to us. Travel near to us once more. Don't you love Christmas time?
All right, welcome back to Durian ASEAN. We are at the third segment, ABC Dialogue. This is Grace.
This is Gowri.
We're just a few days before our new year,
That's
2015. And then I'm pretty much excited. And then I'm more excited to have somebody very special who just sang before our introduction. His name is Gregory Ramanado.
Yeah,
You got it right, Grace. You got it right.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. We're doing fine.
Thanks for having me
Yes.
here.
And it's gonna be the new year as well. It's scary,
Yeah.
it's exciting, so
It's
a lot of mixed
going to be
feelings.
interesting.
It
Yeah.
is going to be very interesting.
A time
yeah.
for change, I guess.
For sure. So, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners, Greg?
A lot
All
of
right. Well, I'm
background.
Gregory Ramanado. Gregory Sri Krish Ramanado to be exact. I am 110% Malaysian. Extra 10% being a little bit eccentric. I'm a singer-songwriter. Local, well, you can consider me, I like to consider myself an artist.
Artist, all right.
However, a lot of people say I'm a great entertainer as well. So,
Okay.
I don't know. An entertainer puts on a good show. I like to give people experiences. So,
You just proved us before the show
Thank you,
already.
thank
We've never had an introduction like that before. It
the
always
audience,
starts with
however,
us.
I don't know if the audience actually knows what we talked about earlier on, but maybe we can catch up on a couple of things, yeah?
Yes, we can. So, Gowri, do you have anything
Yes,
to
of course. Maybe a little extension to that introduction. Did you study music? What did you study in school? How did you choose to go down this path in the first place?
Music is like I believe it's always been part of my life. I think plays a big role in everyone's lives. Just that some crazy people like me think that we can do it all the time. And I don't know. I love it. I love being in the practice of music. It is therapeutic for me. It helps me find balance in my life. I also find it my self-satisfaction. I don't really get a lot of money here in Malaysia. I think every other Malaysian artist can vouch for that, unless of course you're a big, huge star like let's not mention names. But yeah, I do it for the love and more so for the effect I have on people. I help people feel great, and I think that's a noble thing to do, a noble cause to sing a song. I also think that I have a responsibility. I'm an artist. I speak of society's subconscious. The things that people are afraid to say, I speak out in form of song. Yeah,
sounds
how I
like-
chose this line. I never really studied music. I chose my teachers. I watched people through my interest. Interest is the soil on which all intelligence and knowledge grows on. So with my interest driving me, I made friends with some interesting musicians. Some were older, some were my age, and some even younger. And instead of competing with them, I collaborated with them, hence learning so much more. I never
It's
really
very
studied it.
interesting. Instead
Yeah.
of competing them, you want to collaborate with them. Do you want to share more on that?
I think this whole world, driven by its economy, is in competition with each other. Our need for money and more money makes us, subliminally, there's a fight in the business world. I come from a business environment as well. I'm
I
an
see.
investment consultant by day. And, I think the only form of fashion where people don't necessarily have to compete, there's a fullness when it comes to collaborating, is in music. Only this form, in my perspective. Music and food, where you can actually experiment and come up with new things. It's how music has evolved over the years.
And well, a lot of people would say that it's always better when there's competition, but you put it in a different way that you can achieve a lot more actually through collaboration instead.
Don't get me wrong. There is competition is integral. You need competition to up yourself, to up your game.
Of course.
I see people, and you have a choice as a human being, either to be jealous of his talent or be inspired. Positive and negative. That choice is entirely yours. You can fill yourself with hate and loathe someone because of his talent that he has practiced real hard to achieve, his success meaning, or you could be inspired by his hard work and go ahead and get yours. You know, go out there and get better at being yourself, like he is being himself. And then when you collaborate, now your craft and his craft combines, and now you have something special. That's how it's always been, right?
So it's like a 1 + 1 = 3 thing.
Why not? I like that. Yeah.
And also, it sounds like your music has always been there in your life since when you were young, and then you started writing songs when you were young. How did you actually get inspired, and then to be able to write songs? And then, you know, because you just say you are not music literate, but then how did you actually come about and grew yourself from there?
Interesting question. I think I chanced upon it. I just picked up a pen. I promise you, I wasn't always a singer.
Oh, I see.
I just loved music. I wanted to participate in music. But because I didn't know an instrument just yet, the first form of participation is the other clap or sing. Sing along. You know, we all sing. I think there's not one person on this planet that doesn't sing. I like to tell people confidently that I'm just a professional shower singer.
Okay.
I started off in the shower, just expressing, you know. I think there's some form of release of your tension, built-up tension that you have inside. We all got our problems. And I think my escape has always been music. I just get into it and get lost.
I see.
And it's a beautiful loss because I find myself again at the end of it.
And how was it like starting out back then? Was there a lot of platforms available? Did you have to actually go and approach a lot of people and to let you play?
You got to be proactive. That's what I advise. There's nothing in life that's easy, or nothing in life that's worth having that was easy.
Of course.
You know, I love the journey. I'm a thrill seeker, an adventurer. So when I started off, I didn't know where to go. We started singing in church for, believe it or not, funerals and weddings. And some person saw me, my brothers, and said, hey, her name was Corinne Gomez. And she brought us into a home. We used to run away from my house, go to her house, and she'd play the piano, and we just sing. And I just sing with all my heart, man. And
until now.
Yeah, until now. It's been part of my act. Natural act.
How is it like to be in the music industry and become a musician or a singer? How is it like to be? How is it now?
How is it now?
Yeah.
Today,
because you started as more like a hobby and then a form of releasing your tension within your body. But then now you're making money out of this. You're going out there as a career. You want to sing and then you want to still express yourself via this career that you're building on. So how is it like?
Well, to be quite frank, Grace, I still haven't. It's not a substantial career.
I see.
I don't look at it as a career. It's just a life choice. It's part of my life. I share my music with people. I have to go out every week and express myself, at least. And coming back to that question earlier about how I got doors and opportunities and platforms, I just want to knock people and ask them kindly. And most often than not, they would say no.
They will say no.
Yeah, most people say no at first. And because maybe they didn't have enough faith, or maybe they didn't have enough belief in my talent, or what we were representing, or maybe I was insecure that I never looked at myself like a musician, like a professional musician, because I never studied it. So I thought I lacked skills, and I didn't think I was good enough. So I said, I'll just keep getting better, and I started knocking on doors politely, and when those doors didn't open after a while, I started breaking them down and created my own opportunities. So instead of going in, a lot of people here in this industry cry over the fact that no one's giving them opportunities. I was once upon a time in that situation until I realized that, hey, why cry over people's opinions? how about having some self-belief in myself, go out there and create my own opportunities.
So, do you still remember your first platform in Malaysia?
Oh, I designed that platform. It's called Talent Experiment.
Uh-huh.
Back in the day, I think it was 2010. We ran it successfully, and a lot of acts were spawned from it. We also had the manga sessions, which was run by a notable musician in the industry, Mr. Ray Chong. We also had the feedback open mics by Reza Saleh.
Yes.
And, I wanted to call mine, it was an open mic, a platform for any band, any act, whether you're a guitar, whatever it was, you come there that night. And it was I wanted to recreate the music industry. If you're good enough.
What do you mean by recreating music industry?
Well, in a different fashion, on a night, you had people come in, and these bands were told to bring in a crowd, because it was a collaboration, a win-win-win situation for the client, which is the business, the entity, and then the creative talent that gets on stage, and the customers that come to the place. So what do the customers want? They want a great night. They want an experience.
Of course.
And these people came to see their friends play. So we encourage these creative talent to bring their friends along. And their job is to not just play for their friends and entertain their friends, but win over other friends. Make some new friends with your music. Let your music do the talking. We had Darren Ashley. Darren Ashley at that time, believe it or not, I knew this guy was special.
Oh.
Because
in what sense? How did you get the vibe from?
Well, he was one of the few people that spurred my drive.
Oh.
Because I saw how much he wanted it. When I'm talking about collaboration versus competition, it's these people that have inspired that idea.
I see.
And Darren Ashley back then, today he's noted for his Dash, having that band Dash and having his own music, Bass.
And also production
Bass
as well.
Cola, production. This guy back in the day, he was trying. I saw him trying just like I was trying. And I wanted to give him an opportunity. I had a lot of respect for his ears. His ears were so sharp.
I see.
And I paid him the most amount of money that night because I was running the night and most people thought that I got the most money. I gave Darren 300 ringgit for being my sound engineer because he would get on stage for all these amateur acts at that time. They were, they're just starting up. And he would capture their energy and sound on the deck.
Oh.
And he was so precise that everyone had a good time. And that was beyond my capacity. I couldn't understand that. But I knew and respected the fact that he was an integral part of that combination. So the people would vote for the bands. How you vote is you get a drink, you pay, you buy something in the place, which helps the client. Now you get a receipt. Every 10 ringgit you spend is equivalent to a vote. So one vote. Every 10 is one.
Yeah.
So you have 350 ringgit, you got 35 votes to give away to anyone. You can be biased towards your friend. It's like the industry. You can be biased towards one person, or you could fall in love with another person, or divide your votes equally because you're a generous person, or you're like democratism, And it was quite fun because you saw people come in and engage. And I think that was what was tremendously special about our nights. Talent Experiment.
How did you? How long did you run that event?
Me and my friends, Glenn Harding and David Augustine, David Augustine. We had Ben Harding. We had Emmanuel from Kaya, and all of us, we just collaborated. I got my support from my friends, and what we did was we ran it over a period of time. I had to leave. I went to Australia.
Oh.
They took it on. And today you've got many different representations of the same idea. But I don't claim any rights for it. I'm a very generous guy. I'm enough of an artist to rely and depend upon my own imagination.
So that was the sort of the platform that you created, and you left Malaysia to Australia.
Yeah, because I now wanted to be, in that spirit of collaboration and competition, I wanted to prove to Malaysia that we were products made in Malaysia, but designed for the world. My reach, I don't want to just reach Malaysia. Hopefully with Durian ASEAN, I can reach ASEAN.
That's nice.
And I want to reach out to people. I want to share my music. I think the beautiful thing about music is that it is not biased against your race, age, creed, gender, or age.
Of course.
So that's my perspective.
So you went to Australia and...
I became an artist. I was doing the same thing, open mics.
Okay.
But the fascinating thing was, in contrary to Malaysia, I was received at the get-go. There was no, this and that. And when I sang there, people got up and were like engaging me straight away. Here, I noticed the Malaysian audience, they sit down, they wait for it.
Oh,
They wait for it, or they are just very
reserved.
That's the word I was looking for. Thanks, Grace.
So that's the comparison you will make in terms of audience reaction. How about the venues in Australia and Malaysia? In terms of platforms, and then how welcoming are they in Australia, like in all those venue owners towards the artists?
Also in terms of presenting opportunities too.
Well, in Australia, it's polar opposite from Malaysia. There, they endorse their local artists.
They endorse the local artists, all right?
And they endorse artistic, creative talents. Like, it was easy for me to get any opportunity. And there, coming back to that collaboration and competition, there it was very competitive. I would go in, and I remember an Australian band, Sammy Owen's blues band. Actually, Sammy Owen himself is a great guitarist. You have to check him out.
All right.
He helped me. He said, "I'm gonna make you and me, mate. We're gonna get going, mate. In this Melbourne city, mate, we're gonna be dangerous, mate. You and me, Greg. You and the microphone, me and my Strat guitar. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get these pineapples." I said, "What's pineapples?" And Sammy, "The 50 note, mate. Then we go up to the green apples, which is the 100 note." And we were earning quite top dollar there, and we were competing like next door to me in Fitzroy, Brunswick Street, Fitzroy. That'd be, have you heard of Wolf Mother?
Yeah.
Okay, Wolf Mother be playing down the road. You pay like a cover charge, right? And you get a supporting act and then the act. Wolf Mother being the headlining act. Because of my color, they were very I don't blame them for being racial. They're giving me racist remarks, because they were like, "Oh, mate, you're a curry dude. You're supposed to be driving taxis, mate.
Yeah,
what
I
you
actually
doing,
wanted
like,
to ask you about that.
what you doing, like fronting an Australian band, mate?" And I'm like, "Sammy, they're talking all these things. What do I do?" "Mate, Greg, don't worry about it, mate. Yeah, we'll get it going. Once you get in the mic, mate, they know what you're about. You're the Black Elvis."
Was that what happened?
Well, I got on the mic and I gave it, like, normally when I'm like, heat's on me, I'm like, okay, like I said, I look at singing like a boxer looks at a match.
Oh.
So for me, I'm going to win. I'm going to win this audience. I'm going to win their love. And by the end of the night, they're all going to be shaking my hand and saying hello to me. And I just want to say hi back.
You remind me of this quote by Martina Navratilova, a tennis player. She said, "I play to win." Every time she gets down there, it's just to win. She's not there to give it a try or to try to win. It's just to go all out and to win it. And I think that's the kind of mentality that you adapted as well.
But what I want to win, okay, I hope I have enough to live a good life, good comfortable life, enough money. But a lesson I learned is money is never really should never be an objective, because it just jeopardizes the art form.
Yep.
So I just want to win respect and love, and I want to be loved by. I want to travel the countries. I'm so fascinated for my future. Like I want to go to Korea, South Korea. Like I've sung for Korean people, and like they're quite fascinated at how I pick up their accent real quick.
Because we
on
will
the karaoke,
appreciate it a lot. Yeah.
I want to go to India, and I want to go to.
Why are you pointing at me?
I'm not pointing at you. I'm just using
All right.
hand gestures. I want to go to like South America. I want to travel the world before I die, and share my music with people, if that's okay.
That's very wonderful, Greg. Well, let's take a short break before we share more about your experiences and thoughts.
You know this, huh? Standing across the room, I saw you smile. I said I wanna talk to you for a little while. But before I make my move, my emotions, they started running wild. My tongue gets tired, and that's no lie, looking in your eye. I'm looking in your big brown eyes, ooh girl, and I got this to say to you, yeah, girl, I wanna make you sweat, sweat till you can't sweat no more, and if you cry, I'm gonna push it some more, girl, I wanna make you sweat, sweat till you can't sweat no more. And if you cry, I'm gonna push it up, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. Oh, mysterious girl, I wanna get close to you. So close to you, my baby. Oh, mysterious girl, pull your body close to mine. Baby, I want your number. I'm not sure if you want mine. All I'm asking you, darling, is you wanna spend some time? Come on, baby. Don't leave me hanging dry. I don't mean to alarm you, baby. I won't harm you. I just wanna make you mine. Oh, I know you're 50-50, mama. You kinda like me, but you're just not sure. You're telling all your friends about me, but they say bad boys never stay true. Come on now, baby. Ooh, you never know until you try. Gonna give me a shot, girl. I don't mean to alarm you, baby. I won't harm you. I just wanna make you mine. That switches on up though. Hey, pretty baby with them high heels on.
ASEAN Breakfast Call Dialogue, widening your horizons.
Hello, welcome back. This is Grace.
Hi, this is Gowri.
And this is Greg.
Yeah, I was about to say we are still with
course.
Greg. Thank you for catching that up. Okay, so let's continue our conversation here. You've shared your experiences in Australia, and what else did you want to add on to your experiences? Sounds so interesting.
Okay, I'll give you one of my most interesting moments. You see, this thing
sure.
about music, it also surprises me. It's been the only thing it's taken me across the globe, to Australia and to also South Africa. Now I'll tell you an interesting story. Me and my brothers were playing in
No black tie.
No Black Tie. Yeah, that's right.
So your brother Herman.
Yeah, my brother Herman Ramanado. Big shout out to that guy.
Yes.
Brother, you're gonna go far.
He's a great
Shout
guy. Yeah.
And my brother Stephen Ramanado, who's actually in Melbourne at the moment.
I see.
The three of us, including my best friend Jared Chow, who is my drummer, and the reason for me being my timing's impeccable is because of that guy.
Oh, awesome.
He embedded the drum just it constantly rings in my head.
Oh, wow.
So we were playing in No Black Tie because a friend of mine, Andrew Netto, this local stand-up comedian who's by far one of the greatest acts I've seen. He's spontaneous and versatile. He engaged me to play for his show, to open his show for him in No Black Tie. And I said yes. I took up that challenge, and it was my first place where I performed. And a couple of shows into that, a lady from South Africa who was seated in the audience came up to me and said, "How would you like to play in South Africa?"
Wow.
In Hermanus. I said, Hermanus? Oh, sounds spectacular.
Yeah.
Where is this place? It's just up north from Cape Town. Okay. I have one problem. How do I get there? We'll get you a flight ticket and everything. I thought this lady was joking because I get told a lot of things because as a musician you get all sorts of promises left, right, and center. She asked for my email.
I see.
I duly gave her my email, and next thing you know,
She sent you.
A plane ticket.
yeah, and I'm sitting in. I took a flight with my mom. We go all the way to South Africa, and we play for her birthday. She's in her 60s,
Oh wow.
and she just wanted me to introduce me to her friends. So it was like a private party, but I got to stay in this lakeside. It's a house
Beautiful.
in the middle of like this landscape, this lagoon, like by a lagoon that meets with the sea.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it was a pleasant adventure. And all I had was my guitar. It was so. It was a low. The place was far off from the city center, and it was the only single house in the woods, right?
Wow.
And there was no internet connection. There was no lines. There were no electronic gadgets.
How long were you there?
I was there for like a week, just a week, and I myself got to take myself out of this, technologically driven world that we're living in, and now I'm back to basics, and everyone's relying on me for entertainment.
Of course.
Because today we are too easily bored, and we have our phones to entertain us, to catch up with our friends and communicate on the go. And here, these people were sitting with me. Well, you had a crowd from age 19 right up to like 60, right? So about 20 people there, all different characters and personalities, all wanting different kinds of music. And I had to try my best and remember songs because we don't have the internet. I can't look at tabs. I can't find chords. I just have to hear them. I hear them on the radio and like listen to them. Okay. Can't buy me love. Just play them with my guitar and find the chord. Can't buy you a diamond ring, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. I give you what I got to give if it makes you feel alright. I don't care too much for money, 'cause the money can't buy me love. So I just,
Awesome.
it helped me to be one with the guitar and to do what I naturally do best, entertain and excite this audience with music. And I was singing like 24/7. Like every moment I had, I was drinking wine. They gave me wine, fed me wine, and that's all I had. And
And I'm
music.
sure wine helped you a lot too.
Oh yes, it was part of the inspirational process.
I want to ask in terms of local support, because we've spoken to a lot of musicians and they pretty much say the same thing, that when they actually get out of Malaysia, people are so welcoming, so supportive, but when they come back here, they feel like, hey, this is my home.
The
I don't know
scenes
what
are
it is.
different.
I don't know what it is, and to be quite frank, I'm looking forward to. That's why whenever I get up on stage here in Malaysia, I give them a show as if I were playing in Australia or South Africa. The same energy and enthusiasm I would have, I play. Because sometimes you get demotivated when a crowd doesn't engage with you.
That's true.
A crowd needs to respond.
It's a
communication.
give and take. Yes.
It's when I talk, you listen.
Yes.
And when you talk, I listen. So it's give and take. This energy is bouncing back and forth.
Yep.
Instead, here it's like we give, they take, and they don't give back.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously rude. And well, hopefully, I still have faith.
So then, how do you actually overcome that difficult? It's another hurdle, isn't it? When it comes to entertaining crowds in Malaysia, you give full out to the audience, but there was no feedback from the audience. How do you overcome that?
By
Do you
not letting
try
that
to-
fear
Uh-huh.
get to me. By having faith that change is possible. And I can make that change happen with my cause and effect. And that's why sometimes I walk up to audiences and ask them to, hey, get up. Have you watched James Brown?
Yeah.
He's another inspirational,
Of course,
of course.
besides Michael Jackson, all the greats, Bob Marley and whatever. But James Brown in particular, he did not care about how you felt. Actually, he did. But he wanted you to feel more. His words, not very much. Get up, get on up, get up now, get on up, get up, and that's all he does. Get up, get on up, get up now, get on up, That's all. It's just repeated. Shake your body, maker, shake your. He just wants you to get up and dance.
Now.
Yeah.
Should we get up and do it?
Yeah, if you feel like it,
I was going to stand up there.
Well,
Yeah.
that's wonderful, Greg. But also, I want to ask you about the local music scene here. We talked about the audience. We talked about your experiences. But how about in terms of a production? I mean, now I can see a lot of platforms have opened to
Yes.
a lot of younger generations.
And I just want to take the chance to thank these people for having these platforms and letting the youth engage in this creative act, and giving them a platform for them to, kudos to you guys, because Without you guys, we don't have an outlet. Input, no output. You know?
Well, yes. Well, thanks to all this production and who people behind that scenes. But how about the music itself in terms of production wise? Because we have local indie scenes here in Malaysia, and definitely it is growing. But at the same time, there are lots of youngsters who just sing target to mainstream for the sake of fame. So what is your view on this? Because in this sense, they want to create their original tunes and to be able to, go out there to mainstream. But then there are also for example, YouTube stars. They just become very famous overnight. And
Yes,
that's
of
totally,
covers.
it's totally different scenes, even though they are both are in the music scenes. So what's your view on this, Greg?
Great question.
Yeah.
My take on it is that, I'm a live performer. Like sitting down here in front of this mic is, you might find it fascinating, and most people don't understand my logic, but I am like every other human being. I'm scared. I'm nervous before I get behind this mic, or even when I get up on stage. But it's in the act of overcoming this fear, telling myself that, hey, that those thoughts in my head that say I can't do it, we all have these thoughts telling us, no. We are reasoning with ourselves. What's the chance people are going to acknowledge you? What if they don't respond to you? We have this fear that comes into our head. And I believe if we take off this fear, then it's two different scenes, of course. I have a couple of YouTube videos, but to be quite honest, I still fear the camera. I don't know how I look, and I don't know how I act. I need an audience so that I feel I'm a live performer. That's all I've been doing. That's all I'm comfortable doing. And for me, this 2015 will mark that me entering these markets and trying to make a name for myself. I think it's okay. If you want to be a YouTube star, that's a channel of expression.
Of course.
Like the stage is also a channel of expression for me. I'm yet to discover the other side. So I think they're all relevant. In terms of these platforms and these indie scenes, I hope that they can open out and be
More supportive.
supportive. I think they are being supportive to the people they like. It's time that we had small little things. I think what we really need in this environment here, and I can't speak on behalf of ASEAN because I am not very knowledge of other cultures and how it's the socio-economic platforms in those countries. But in Malaysia, there's no. You say as a musician, if you ask me, just now, career-wise, future, I'm scared. I don't have EPF. I don't have SOCSO. I don't. There's nothing that goes into a savings plan for me.
Yes.
If I'm on the street and I'm homeless, and say I didn't have support, financial aid from friends and family, and from the gigs I do, then who do I turn to? Who do I go to for support? Is there a government body that will help me out? No. Is there any support center, an association of sorts? We have Karya one, but I've registered myself there. They're not very they're not very active.
Yep.
They all talk the great talk, but they don't do anything about it. Hopefully, I'm trying to create a new platform like I did with Talent Experiment. I'm coming up with a small little studio in PJ State called The Music Shack. You can go on to Facebook, www.facebook.com/ The Music Shack, TheMusicshack.my, because it's the first one here in Malaysia. And you can check us out, like us, and follow us, because we're going to be. It's not just a cafe, it's not just a studio, it's not just a gallery, it's not just a rehearsal space, it's not just my ashram. That's what I like to call it. It's my space where I get to creatively combust at any given moment. And it's a place where we welcome musicians and we become a support center for them. We also help them with negotiations. We will say representation. We don't want to own their talent. We want to just help them to represent themselves with clubs and with contracts and black and white papers, so they don't get cheated and they don't get because I've been through all this and I'm just trying to help out the younger generation.
Well, it sounds like it's very healthy community platform that you have created. Yes. So, yes.
Do you think that there should be a government body that caters to this problem, so people actually have somewhere to go to?
We have a Ministry of Arts and Culture. I don't know what they're doing. They give out all this money to bring down international acts. pay millions of dollars for international acts to come here. They come here, take our money, and go to the States and spend it in their own economic environment, which is helping their economy. It's high time we thought of upping our Malaysian products. I'm a Malaysian product, so as to you guys, you're here in Malaysia. Malaysia should take care of you, so that we have more talent. It's not a brain drain for me to leave. I wanted to stay in Australia so badly. I so badly wanted to stay there, but I thought to myself, I can't run away from my country. I got nowhere else to belong, man. This is the place I know. This is the place I love. My friends are here. My family is here. I can't abandon the ship. I gotta stay. I gotta be part of this change.
That shows how much you love this country still.
I do. I love it, man. It's blind love. Yeah. Given all the circumstances and hindrances that I'm facing at the moment, I still love it wholeheartedly because it was quite an upbringing I had. Very liberal upbringing. I was born with Catholic parentage, and I also had an adopted Malay family that taught me the Islamic way. My dad immersed me to the Hindu way of life. My Chinese friends taught me the Chinese way of life. And in accommodating and appreciating and tolerating other people, I'm like different cultures in one body. That is Malaysian. Yeah, like a rojak. My friend Ray Chong, he had the rojak sessions just because, he had this same understanding. Yeah, we're all rojak.
And going back to what you were saying earlier in terms of creating all this support group for musicians and all, what about, it's maybe a little controversial, but what about local radio stations? Do you think they're playing enough local music and highlighting our local talents?
Will I get shot for this? You see, back in the day, can I enlighten you with a story? Sure. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bunny Wailer, who formed Bob Marley and the Wailers, so back then the Wailers, they had the same situation back in the day where they were bringing records from the UK into Jamaica, in Kingston Town and Trench Town, and they played the records, and these DJs would play all this foreign music, and people bought the foreigners, people from this land are buying another man's music. No offense, respect to them for having inspired. Now, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bunny Wailer walked into the DJ room, put a gun to the DJ's head, and say, "Play my music now, man."
Oh.
You play it now. And they had a guy. Daring. They had a guy in the car, waiting in the car, listening to the radio, and they would put a trigger if he didn't hear the song. And they shouted back, "Man, do you hear the music?" "Yeah, man, I hear it." "All right, man, you keep playing it. Play the record." So they just let the music play on the radio.
Very gangsterish.
Well, I think it's professionally aggressive. Sometimes you have to act with a little bit of aggression so people wake up. Here in Malaysia, our radio stations, well, I'm not going to go Bob Marley and then maybe if I was driven to it. But, they keep playing. My advice to them is, how about considering playing more of our music?
Malaysian music.
So that people in Malaysia get inspired by, it's like telling me that I'm not good enough in a subliminal fashion, that I'll never be as good as Bruno Mars.
But Greg, I want to ask you a question. What's Malaysian music? Malaysia is such a diverse country.
Correct.
You have so many types of music here in Malaysia.
Correct.
So how do you define Malaysian music?
It's just a product of Malaysia. That's what I say. If you're born from Malaysia and you carry a certain sense of music, that music should be carried on to the world. I can do the same thing that these international acts come and do here. If I went to Australia with somebody saying, "Hey, Greg, we got you, man. Go do your thing." Okay? Take care of that Australian crowd. Show them who we Malaysian people are. I'd gladly go like that boxer I like to be. I'll go there and kick ass and come back, man. Why not?
Do it. Rocky on them.
Well, I could do some rock, but I can sing whatever you want me to sing. But just the mental concept of playing all this music repeatedly, consecutively, and giving money to these record labels who are, of course, endorsing these radio stations, and.
So you're talking more about the mechanism.
The mechanism is wrong. Yeah. It's time for change. It's time to not just give us 1 hour a week. Maybe give them 1 hour a week if they deserve it.
Those international artists.
Yeah. Just to let us Malaysian people know that we're good enough, man. And, I want to inspire my Malaysian... If Malaysian people listen to Malaysian music, they get inspired to want to become something as well. Then we have a future. But now it's just like a constant fight, a battle to be the best.
So then you're coming back to the Music Shack. When do you plan to open that platform?
We are having a very exclusive pre-soft launch. I'm not going to mention the date just yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right. But definitely early next year.
Yes, early next year.
All right.
Yeah, we look out first. Oh, this would have been. You can look out first in the Malay Mail. We come out this
pretty soon.
pretty soon. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll check the Music Shack.
You
and
can
also on Facebook.
Yes, on Facebook for now. We will have a website in future, and you will be hearing about us because the right people will be coming up to you and telling you about the Music Shack.
All right.
Because we're supporting musicians, my ambition is to be, like, I'm a performing musician. If I snap a guitar string, I go into one of my local music stores, I pay consumer prices for them.
Oh, all right.
So how about giving me a discount, saying, hey man, we got your back. Take it easy. I know you break your strings very often because you play a lot and you perform for an audience. It's a very noble thing you're doing. We'll help you out.
So Greg, before we finish our segment and our interview, well, what's your message to our listeners? I mean, you can wish in line of a Happy New Year or your personal message to our listeners.
Dear listeners, if you're listening, I hope you have a great 2015. Don't let it be anything other than great, because you have a choice to be awesome, and keep being awesome. Stay humble and stay hungry, and we'll make this change happen together, all of us.
Wow.
And don't forget to check out the Music Shack on Facebook.
Of course.
Facebook.com/themusicshack.my. I think I want to be a DJ now.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was really
Okay, really used to
I
this
hope our
mic.
boss is not listening.
Well, thank you very
you so
much,
much.
Greg.
It's been a
for
pleasure,
coming
Grace
in
and Gowri.
today.
Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Much love and more music, huh?
Yep.